And a very good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first videocast of 2022. I am Tom Mosley, one of your hosts, and joined by not Hannah Dethridge to start off the year, but joined by the wonderful Mr. Gregory Proctor.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
I'm not too bad. How is things?
Blurry, apparently.
I've got to love autofocus, mate. Got to love autofocus.
So hopefully that'll clear up in just a second. But I am good, thank you very much, mate. How are you?
Not too bad. I've been looking forward to this one. We were doing the kind of planning stages the other day about what we're going to talk about for the first stream. And the last stream, or the last video cast of last year, was all about what did we love about 2021 and video games. So we thought it was only right that we talk about the upcoming games of 2022, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't quite realize there are a plethora of games coming out this year, and yeah, I'm super excited. But what have you been up to, man? How have you been in the last kind of first week of work?
It's been manic. Came in this morning like, oh, it's going to be a good week, and then listed off all the things I had to do this morning. And went, oh. Great, that's lots. So I'll definitely be leaning on my wonderful teammates to give a hand with some of these.
100%. Well, we are live, Greg. So we do have some people in chat. Can you see who we have in chat for us today so far?
We have got Tassin. Hello, Tassin. How are you doing? Games Guru has joined us with a host hammer as well. Thank you very much for that, mate. Hey, DJ. Hey, DJ. It's kind of weird when we're saying hello to you with your name. So you guys are all in chat with us today. So let us know how your day is getting on, and start having that think about what games that you're looking forward to this year as well.
100%, because there are plenty there. I've got a small list, so we will definitely get into that. But it is a new year, but it is still the same video cast. We are still going to have some guests, which Greg is going to introduce momentarily. We're still going to do quickfire questions with a little bit of a twist on this week as well as talking about our main topic, as I said, the games of 2022. So, Greg, now you are no longer blurred.
I've fixed it, Tom.
You fixed it.
I pressed the button and it's worked. Then what happens?
Who do we have joining us for the first video cast of the year?
Well, not to forget Hannah, as I had to come in and just and help out today in her stead. I thought I'd try and introduce them like Hannah would with some fancy words. Yeah, some
fancy words. Okay, what have you got for me?
I'm going to start off with the genuinely jubilant Joseph Shelley.
Here he is.
Hello, mate.
Hi guys, you all right?
I'm not too bad at all. How you doing?
Yeah, really good. It's great to be here for the first videocast of 2022. It's awesome. It's really good.
Do you know what's even more special, Joe? It is not just you're joining us for the first videocast of 2022.
Nope.
For those of you viewing at home that aren't aware, this is Joe's first stream as a Microsoft UK&I evangelist. So, big round of applause. Welcome to the team.
He's joined the team. It's his first day, and we decided, you know what? Yeah, you could on stream with us.
They're like, how can I make it really awkward for you guys? Obviously, I'm absolutely buzzing. It's brilliant to be working with you guys. I mean, we've worked in the past before, right? You know, I'm no stranger to Videocast and stuff. So it's nice to be on the team now as well.
Amazing. Well, welcome. It was probably, or definitely, won't be the last time Joe appears on Videocast, Easy Live, or Level Up. So we look forward to that, Joe.
Brilliant.
Greg, who else we got?
I was going to say a quick hello to Michael Chadwick in chat, who's popped in. Happy New Year to you as well, mate. Michael. Right, okay, back into
Hannah mode.
Back into Hannah mode. Yeah, get all the fancy words out, and we're going to go with the audacious and the adventurous Adam Schofield.
Here he is.
There he is. Don't look too impressed with that one, mate.
I miss Hannah. I joke. I jest. Hello. How's it going?
I've added a stream marker there because I'm going to clip that section and play that at every available opportunity.
Oh, brilliant!
There you go. If I ever am mean to Hannah for any reason, just like grab that clip.
Yeah.
And
I'll send it you for later.
If I'm ever mean to Greg for any reason, still grab that clip.
I continue to be mean to me. I see how it is.
There you go. But, hello. Yes. I don't know if there was a question. But hi. Regular viewers of the Videocast may have seen my face before. Although, frankly, I've been on more streams in the past week than I think I have been in the last 6 months. So I don't know.
But you've been a very busy boy for the last 6 months, but you are now fully back, fully ready, and now you're just going to be on every single stream.
Well, within reason.
Damn it! I thought I could get away with that. I thought I could get away with that.
We got to rethink that schedule, Tom.
Yeah, very, very true. But guys, thank you very much for volunteering for joining, and guys, thank you very much for joining us in chat. If you are just viewing, thank you very much for watching. However, feel free to jump into chat, answer the quickfire questions, and join in. As I posted a question earlier about get your thinking caps on because we are talking about the games of 2022 in this stream. So start having a think about the games that you are super, super excited for. But it is Hannah's favorite segment of the show with a little twist. So without further ado, it is time for this week's Quickfire Question. There we go. I remembered the jingle. It's been a while. I in the past have forgotten to press the jingle, but we are into the quickfire questions. Now, I thought this morning, I've got to think of some quickfire questions, and my brain could only think of 2. So I thought, oh, you know what? I'm going to do some delegation, and I sent an email out to these guys and going, can you think of one single quickfire question so we can do a little bit of a round robin, and we can mix it up. It's not all Hannah's mind now. We're going to have a hive mind, a collective mind, and do some quickfire questions each. So I'm going to do the first one. And then I'll do the last one, and then we'll go around. So it'll be Greg. You'll be to answer them. It'll be Greg, Adam, Joe, and then myself, and we'll do that same order for the questions.
Okay.
So my first quickfire question of 2022. Throughout 2022, would you rather complete your pile of shame, but you can't play any new games or DLC, or just keep playing new games and adding to the pile?
God.
And let us know in chat as well, guys. What would you rather? Complete your pile of shame, can't play any new games, or just keep adding to the pile of shame by playing new ones?
Does Game Pass count as the pile of shame?
Yes.
Well, no. Only if you're interested in said game on Game Pass.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I meant. Is you have to count.
I was gonna say, if Game Pass counts, we've got a lot of games.
That's a lot. It's a lot to get through.
It counts in the sense of that includes like playing new ones that are added to Game Pass. Like you can't even play a brand new game added to Game Pass before you complete your pile of shame.
Oof. You know what? There's a lot in my pile of shame at the moment, and I think I will continue to play through my pile of shame so that I am no longer shadowed by said massive pile of shame. So I think I'm going to complete all my old games and then get brand new fresh into next year.
Do you feel, would that add like loads of pressure? Because obviously we're going to talk about them, but there's a lot of games coming out this year. That means you can't play any of the new ones.
I think the worst thing would be is that if all of my friends got the new ones and I couldn't play with them, that would be the worst thing about it.
That is true. We've had Tarsin and Michael all say they'll continue to play, so they're going to keep completing their pile of shame. So they agree with you there, sir. Yeah. Mr. Schofield, where are you with it?
Play new games.
Play new games?
Because my pile of shame is quite small. I don't have much of a pile of shame. In my pile of shame right now is Forza Horizon 5. But frankly, do you ever complete a Forza Horizon game? And the San Andreas, the definitive one that I did.
Yep.
And that's it. Like, that's all I can currently remember. I reckon there's like a couple others dotted around which I've forgotten about.
Okay.
In fact, I know there definitely is. Yeah, I'm never that bothered by a pile of shame. I'll generally go to complete a game anyway, and I only ever play a couple games at a time. Okay. And if I don't complete one for any reason, then it lost my interest. So,
It doesn't deserve to be completed.
Stay in that shame pile.
Yeah, basically. I like. Thing is, I wish I could just stick to a couple of games at a time, but I'm awful at getting halfway through a game that I absolutely love, and then I start another one and then forget about the one that I loved. So I should take a leaf out of your book.
I feel like a magpie just distracted by anything that's new and shiny.
Yeah, 100%, and that 100%. I'm not even going to deny that. Mr. Shelley, what about yourself?
Completing the pile of shame, I think. Okay. Go back, yeah. There are a few games now that are adding up, and I think maybe, although, obviously we're going to be looking at games that are coming out, there are some really good games this year. I think I could maybe sacrifice, just if it's just for this year, then, pile of shame.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I would say keep adding to the pile. If anybody knows me, they know my pile of shame is astronomical. Yeah. And I may as well just keep the bad habit. I may as well. There's no point trying to fix it. Just keep going with a bad habit. Keep playing those new games, and we'll get into those new games in a little bit. And funny enough, I've got the longest list out of all of us about the new games that I'm excited for this year. So I'm just adding fuel to the fire. Right. So that is the first quickfire question. Gregory, on to you for the second quickfire question of the round.
Mine might be leading into something a little bit later on. But if you could be a magical or mythical creature, what would you be?
Adam, you're going to go first for this one.
If I could be a magical or mythical creature, what would I be?
Yeah.
Is that from a video game or in just general?
You'll have to see.
Either, I suppose.
Either could be any, either magical or mythical from any sort of mythology or any sort of genre.
Oh,
that's hard.
It's hard, isn't it?
I don't know, a unicorn, because everyone loves unicorns.
Oh, that's a good shout.
Apart from Voldemort, but
that's true.
Spoilers, no joke.
Okay. Cool.
Ooh.
Joe, what about yourself?
I'm just going to say something like a centaur, not following on suit because they're also followed on by a centaur.
Rather horse-like.
But they're just, yeah, you can run really fast, you're also human, part human. Yeah, something like that.
I like that. I would probably pick, specifically from a game, I would be a dragon from Skyrim.
Ooh.
Just so I could fly around.
And be hunted.
Be hunted, take on the Dovahkiin, and try and win. I could never take on dragons in Skyrim. I was never that good at it. So as long as I'm going against myself in Skyrim, then I'm going to be fine.
That's a good shout, though.
Well,
it's a good shout.
There's a couple of little things I'd like to slightly change in mind. I'd be like,
you can't change the question when it gets to you,
right? Be a Cerebrus. Be a Cerebrus, but like each head with 3 heads, right? It's like a dog with 3 heads. Mm-hmm. So think like Fluffy from Harry Potter. If we're going down that route,
I'm about to say, are we just referencing Harry Potter now?
Apparently so. Yeah.
Maybe
other children's
available.
I say children's, by the end, it's like definitely not.
Other Wizarding World films are available.
Because then I could have like each head doing a different task. I can be like a multitasking genius. I can have one head like playing a video game over here, and I have one head eating, and then another head like talking to somebody else and keeping other people happy.
I could be really mean. I could be really mean right now, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna be nice to Greg.
Wow, that's a first. My word.
Damn.
I know. I think I know what you're going to say. Is that I might have 3 heads, but I've only got 4 paws.
It's going to be about you need all the help multitasking that you can get.
That's pretty true.
I agree with that one.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
I like that. You are getting some love in the chat. Big Phil93 over on Twitch, giving you a big shout for joining. Thank you very much. And Michael Chadwick asking, where can I get this Xbox hoodie? These used to be available to purchase on the Xbox store. I don't think they're available anymore. So they used to be available for general consumption. So you might be able to find them on the internet. But that's, I don't think they're directly available anymore. But Adam, your quickfire question, if you wouldn't mind.
My quickfire question is, if you were to match your hairstyle to your in-game character, what would it look like?
Ooh.
Interesting.
So going for like probably what you would usually go for in your own in-game character. It kind of depends on whether you're more of a make it look like yourself type of person or whether you're more of a go mental with it. So
I'm pretty boring when it comes to character creation. I'm like, I'm gonna make me and do what I would do if I was in this game. Very original. But I always somehow happen to have more hair. So so basically, if I could have slightly more hair, that would be me. That's my answer.
There we go. There we go. I generally go, whenever I do a character creation, I always end up with a mohawk.
Oh, dear.
And it's always a white mohawk. If there's an option of a white color hair, it's always white. And if there's an option of a mohawk, it's that. So a white mohawk is where I go with video game characters.
right, so we're learning more about you and video game characters because we now know that you always go for a female and that you always have a white mohawk. So
Nice.
each week we should learn something new about what you do with a character.
So interestingly, to kind of twist your question very quickly, if I could have a video character's hair, I would love to pick Cloud Strife's from Final Fantasy VII. Because the only reason I would pick it is I want to understand how it stays up in that position for that long. How much product must that man use to keep his hair in that position? I just need to know the secret. That's the only reason.
Too much hairspray.
Too much hairspray.
Yeah,
Michael Chadwick shouting out Crash Bandicoot as well. It's got crazy hairstyle as well there.
Like in a lot of games, I'll try and go relatively similar to myself, and then I thought of one game where I really don't, which is Skyrim, where I'd basically be a cat person because I'd pick a Khajiit.
Yep.
Fair.
So
So you would just have fur.
hairstyle, I would just all of it everywhere, tail the works.
Fair enough.
As long as the end of the tail has like the extra little fluffy bally bit at the end.
Okay.
Nice.
Like a lion type thing.
Yep, like a lion.
Okay.
Not bad. Not bad. I'm like Joe, so I will just like my first playthrough of stuff. I'll always go with what would I do. So I try and make it look myself, long hair and all that. Second playthroughs are different. Those I will try and be a bit random. I'll try and go for something funky, like and sticky uppy and like all sorts of weirdness going on.
All the technical terms today, ladies and gentlemen.
All the technical terms. You come here for proper English. That's what you come here for.
Very
Flippy nonsense.
Flippy nonsense. There we go. Joe, what is your quickfire question?
Okay, so if you could go back and remake a game that's over 10 years old and release it for 2022, kind of tying back into the 2022 theme, what would it be?
Oh, I'm glad I'm last.
Yeah, I'm really.
I know, because it has to be over 10 years old as well.
I think the game I would pick, and I think there was a lot of people that also. I think there's petitions already going around about this game having to be remade, and that is Simpsons Hit and Run.
Oh, you get! I was going to go for that.
Yes, what a great shout! That's amazing.
Because there are so many petitions going out for that game to be remade in today's 2022. I would love it. I would play that game to completion. That would never get into the pile of shame because I would play and complete that.
That is an amazing answer. I didn't. Yeah.
This is
really
tough.
Look, the rest of them now are like,
That was my one.
I'm glad I went first now.
Apparently so.
Yeah. I think I'll go with the original Grandia,
I don't think I know that one.
which
No, I was
is
gonna-
a 90s JRPG.
Okay.
It's one of my favorite games ever, and I was a bit questioning on it because I don't know whether updating it would ruin its nostalgia and its
That is always the debate.
heartfelt thing, because it was a fantastically it's a fantastic game of its time, and it did the old school style of text box for your character talking, and the little sprites that it would change. It had multiple different sprites for each character. So each sprite, depending on what they were saying and how emotive they would be like sort of, I think it was 8 different sprites that they could choose from depending on what it was. But the thing is with me is that game, even in that sort of thing, it was so vast and so beautiful. Like I would want to see that that whole world created in 4K.
I like that thought. I like the nostalgia train aspect of that.
That's brilliant.
Very good.
No, good answer.
I've got one.
I've got one.
So I've never actually played this, and this is the original Witcher. And I've played some of the second one. And the thing I found with the second one was that, especially if you've played The Witcher 3 first, it's quite hard to get around the controls and stuff. It feels a bit like old games do, to be fair. Like the controls never seem to age well in a lot of games. And Witcher 2 is an example of that. And I imagine, again, I've never played Witcher 1, but I can't imagine Witcher 1 is better control-wise than Witcher 2.
Yeah.
Definitely not better than Witcher 3. So I'd love to see, because of the age of it now, like a proper full-on remake of it. Like not even a remaster, like completely ground up with today's standards. Just to bring that to a new generation of people. Because
I'd get on board with that, 100%.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Or Simpsons Hit and Run.
which was stolen. That's brilliant.
Joe, what about you? As the question giver, you must have a pretty good answer.
Well, actually,
No,
yeah,
he doesn't.
I hasn't thought about it at all.
No,
His
actually, I wanted to
Simpsons
save myself.
Hit
Yes, Simpsons Hero. No, I'm going to go with Nox, which I'm guessing. I'll be very surprised if any of you have heard of this game.
I
Game
have
called
not.
Nox. No, so it was an old action RPG where you could play as either a mage, a conjurer, or a warrior. And the main voice of the character was called Jack, was actually Stifler from American Pie.
Okay.
So, which is crazy, right? I know it's just a random casual celebrity, in a game. But honestly, it had a very big cult following and was actually probably what set me on my path to playing RPGs as a whole. I spent countless hours on that game, and I actually would heavily suggest you guys checking it out. Even though the publisher was Westwood, which is unfortunately gone now, but yeah, it's a really good game.
I'll have to have a look at it, especially if it started your RPG journey.
Yeah.
I'm definitely.
Oh yeah,
have to,
like
have
100,
to
like that single-handedly put me on RPG journey. Yeah, like 100%.
Awesome.
Lush.
I like that. So for the final question, now this is a quick one. It should be. As a style of quickfire questions, we generally go from really, really short to abnormally long. So I've gone for a short one. Would you rather new DLC for your favorite game, or would you rather a sequel? This isn't aimed at anyone in particular. It is you first, Greg.
I think a sequel. I think in a number, not all, but in a number of cases, the first sequel tends to be slightly better. I think sometimes after it gets like 3, 4, 5, in most cases it can get a little bit watered down. I think in several instances the sequel has been an overall a better experience. Just for example, I love the original Fable.
Yep.
And out of the Fable franchise, my favorite one is Fable 2.
I'd agree with that.
So the sequel, I loved the first one. Having a sequel to it was amazing. Very much enjoyed Fable 3. For me, though, out of those three, Fable 2, that first sequel was my favorite. So I think I'd go sequel.
Thank you very much, sir.
For me, it depends on the nature of DLC. Like, what kind of avenue are we going down when we say DLC? Are we talking just new maps and new skins and stuff like that?
I would probably say new story
expansion. Yeah, so if we're going in expansion territory, I'd probably say expansions, because some of my favorite moments in games and in gaming in general have actually been from the expansions of the main franchises. So I'm currently on my third playthrough of the Blood and Wine expansion for The Witcher 3.
What an expansion.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Like, I don't think that will ever be topped for value. That was like 25 quid when it came out, and it's like a 40-hour game. Like, it's absurd. So that's one. Obviously, there's a small game called Destiny that I play quite a lot, which is
Never heard of it.
which we'll
No.
get into later.
No.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Some of my favorite stuff from that was the second expansion they did, where they did all these like gods and stuff, and you got to go to hell and all sorts of stuff. That was amazing. And yeah, so if I love the game, then yeah, I'd probably say expansion.
I think for me, it has to be expansion. The reason for that is like some of the RTS games that I've played, like Age of Empires, have done incredibly well with expansions. I mean, I've looked at the roadmap for the new Age of Empires that's out now, and for this year, the stuff that's coming out, Map Editor is finally being released, which is the best thing ever on RTSs, being able to actually make your own maps and make your own like little stories where you can put like a mini Joseph in the game and be like, oh, this character has so much health and attack, and then just run around.
And a little bit more hair.
Yeah. and a little, just a little bit more hair. Yeah, for me, it has to be expansions for that reason, yeah.
I think I've asked this question and I don't really know the answer to it. I think I would lean towards sequel. Because I think for me, generally with sequels, you have a new game engine. It's kind of a brand new rebuilt game. However, as Greg has said, sequels aren't always as good as the original. Whereas with DLC, you're still playing the game that you love with additional content. I think for me, I look at Mass Effect and the Citadel expansion, which gave a whole new light to the game. You saw your squad mates in a brand new light and stuff like that. You wouldn't get that in an expansion, but you would have only got that in a DLC. But sometimes I just want to see the updated version of the game. So I think that's where the expansion comes in for me.
I think it's a thing of time scale though as well, isn't it? Like, because expansions you're more likely to get within the next calendar year, whereas a sequel you're like maybe 3-4 years away in some cases. So
that's true.
And I was actually going to say, sorry, as well, like with the sequel, do you feel like you kind of put it more, like it's more of a risk as well? Because you're essentially changing the engine, and it's the instance of like, don't change what isn't broken, or, you know, that kind of thing. Because if you really like the engine and then they go, oh, we're making a new engine now, it's like, oh, well, I didn't like this one. And it's more risky, I guess, isn't it? So.
If anything's to go by, and the Unreal 5 Matrix demo that you can download on the Xbox at the moment, if any of my games ever look like that, I'm all over it.
Yeah.
I am all over it. Which looks incredible. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for contributing with your quickfire questions. That has been this week's quickfire questions.
Quickfire questions.
There we go. Oh, and we are joined by the wonderful Reese Farrington Welsh. Good afternoon to you, sir. Happy New Year to you. I hope you are doing well, and thank you very much for joining us. And you have joined us just in time for our main topic of conversation, which is the upcoming releases of video games for 2022. Who would like to kick us off and chat? Let us know what games you are looking forward to that are meant to be released in 2022. Obviously, release dates are never 100% confirmed. But there are delays. We know this in the world we live in. Who would like to talk video games first?
I don't mind.
Go for it, Joe. Go for it.
I'm just looking at you two, just like
I always put it out because I want to see who's going to go first. Who's going to bite the bullet?
Well, I've gone for a selection of 3 games because I know some of us have been a bit more greedy than that and gone for about 1 million. But I'll narrow it down to 3.
All right, pipe down, just because it's your first day.
What about word after this call? So, first game for me has to be Elden Ring. I'm really looking forward to this. Action adventure, kind of RPG as well. From Software. No, have I got that right? From Soft, sorry, even.
Yeah.
From
Software,
really good game.
Yeah,
from Software.
Yeah.
Really looking forward to that game. Second one, and obviously, if there's any doubts or any questions, feel free to Starfield. I'm actually really looking forward.
Is there a particular reason, just to go back to Elden Ring? Is there a specific reason that you love the Souls-like series?
I'm a very competitive gamer, and I feel like Dark Souls is so intense, and I've had so many conversations with people who have been like, "Oh, I'm stuck on this boss and I can't get past, and I've quit and all this." And I saw that as a challenge, so I'm like, right, I'm going to beat this boss, and then sure enough, it beats me about 100 times. But on the 101st time, I beat it, and then I'm like, yeah, like that thing you can do, I did it. Like
You have
so for
more
me,
patience than I do.
Would you not, Adam? Would you not like? Is it not your thing?
I've done one From Software game which I did not finish, and yeah, I've never played another one because it's just not my bag. It just isn't.
That's a carry-on question.
There was a point in one where I got past a particular boss. I think I was like halfway through, and then the world just got darker and creepier and suddenly escalated. And I was like, I just spent hours on this dude, and now you're throwing this at me. Come on. I just tuned out. So I never finished it. So
do you not see a similar aspect though, Adam, with like Destiny and raids? Because raids are built to be very difficult.
yeah, true, but then it's very much an escalating difficulty of that activity. So like once you get through it, you generally start learning the mechanics and then it gets easier for you. Dark Souls doesn't do that. If you treat a boss like an activity, you'll figure out how to beat that boss, and then it's like, right, I've done it. Oh no! Now we're just going to make it even harder. I'm not like Destiny's one of those rare exceptions for me in terms of like getting into the really, really difficult content. Generally speaking, I'm much more of a story-driven gamer. Like I'll go through the story and stuff and enjoy playing through the whole experience.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then From Software comes along. It's like, no, you will not. You will not enjoy this game. We will kill you again and again and again and again. I'm just gonna go over there, just saying again, just to really get that point home.
I do love video games for that concept though. Is that it's one of the only bits of like entertainment and media that you have to have a certain level of skill to kind of get through. It's like it's not like you get halfway through and listening to like an album or something, and they go, right, you got to sing us the chorus. No, you're not good enough. You can't listen to the rest of the album. Whereas that's what the games are like. You're like, no, you can't get past this boss. Nope, you can't have the rest of the game. Nope, that's it.
Nope,
that's it.
Not allowed.
That's a good way of putting it, actually. Yeah.
I like that analogy.
Halfway through a season and watching some telly, like, what are all the themes? And what was Alex's mum's name? No idea. Yeah, I'm sorry. You have
to rewatch now to find out the answer.
Watch all of it, and when you get the answers, come back to us. It's like this is the only media we do it, and I love it for it. I love the fact that we get these games. They absolutely, they can absolutely trash us. They're like, yeah, no, you still can't have access to the rest of it.
But we keep going back for
got
more.
to beat us.
Going back for more.
I think it's amazing.
So yeah, Joe, Elden Ring. I'm fully on board with you. Elden Ring, 100% with. By the sounds of it, Adam is not with you. Not looking forward to that. What other games have you got for us?
So next one would be Starfield. Still kind of keeping on that RPG line of things, but slightly different in the sense that this is more of kind of lose yourself immersion, traveling through space, exploration. It just... Yeah, I
genuinely thought you were going to say slightly different. It's in space.
Oh, that would be brilliant.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so yeah, it's pretty different. But no, it's more of like an immersion and exploration kind of game.
100%.
From what we've been fed anyway, obviously details are kind of kept some things under wraps, haven't they?
I'm pretty confident that every one of us though has got Starfield on their list of
100%.
I know it's on mine, so
I didn't because I knew all of you guys would talk about it.
no, I just put it on my list anyway. I just wrote down what I'm looking forward to. So.
What's interesting is that I know someone that works for Bethesda. And she's let me know that there is some big things happening in Starfield that have never happened in any video game ever before. obviously she didn't tell me what they were because she'd lose her job for that. So I'm not obviously I don't know, but I'm super excited to see what future announcements are going to bring, and obviously launching at the end of this year, so we've got a whole year of kind of hype now for it.
Hype it up, why don't you? Jesus.
Yeah. So yeah, and obviously it's going to be super exciting. I personally can't wait for it either.
Fabulous. Mr. Games Guru, we are talking about all of our most anticipated games of 2022. So if you have any, chuck them in chat. What are you looking forward to playing over the course of the next year? As we hear Joe's, what you got a third one? You said, yeah, Joe?
My final one. So I've actually gone for something a little bit different. As again, Hogwarts Legacy. Now this was originally due, I believe, to come out last year. However, I guess with things going on in the world, it's been pushed back. We believe it's going to be released this year now. It looks so good. The graphics. Again, I suppose I've just put 3 RPGs down, but they are the games I'm looking forward to. I'm a big RPG guy. What can I say? Yeah, it looks so good. And there's so much to it as well. Like apparently you can leave Hogwarts as well and go off and do like exploration and fight trolls and stuff. And yeah, I can't wait. I'm guessing are you guys all hyped for it? I'm guessing
that's at the top of my list.
It's the top of your list.
Hogwarts Legacy is the one at the top of my list. It's the one I really can't wait for. It, as you said, it looks phenomenal. I love the idea that it's a quite an open world version of the Wizarding World that we kind of grown up with. If you're a fan of it, and I like the fact they've actually based it before all of the Harry Potter universe sort of thing. They based it in the 1800s, which I think suits the sort of the styling of the game really nicely. So I can't wait to find out so much more about that time period within that universe, and just wander around as a new student within Hogwarts. Because I remember when I first started gaming, playing Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, and then just running around the playground shouting "Flipendo" at everybody, because that was the spell of the game. Where you would go to different classes and you would learn all these different spells. And I love that idea of being able to go into Hogwarts as a brand new student, have to go to herbology and find out information about it and attend the classes, and then get into all of the mischief and the shenanigans that can happen across sort of Hogsmeade and Diagon Alley and all that sort of stuff to really get into it. And then just to top it off, there's actual dueling in there. So you can actually have some dueling fights with other wizards in the world as well. I can't wait. Sorry, Tom, you're muted.
God damn it. Do you think it will have the RPG mechanics in it of like kind of you can choose what you want to specialize in, or do you think the game will direct you to go, oh, you have to go to all your classes, or do you think you can go, you know what, I want to be a master of potions or a master of dueling, and that will then affect the game? Do you think that's going to be a thing, or do you think it's going to be quite linear?
So I watched the trailer not too long ago, and it did kind of allude to that fact. And it said like playing in your own style, and like there's one scene you can see like someone's doing a spell, and then it talks about or you can use So I think at least that's what they're telling us, like without actually officially saying it. That would be incredible. That'd probably be game changing, actually. I want to say as well if they did do that, because there's not many games out there that allow you to fully like control aspects of the game to a point of I want to use my magic and now I want to use a potion instead that I've just made earlier, or that'd be pretty huge.
Interesting. I think more details will kind of release this year for it if it's supposed to release this year, and that's the current. Well, we've just been told 2022. So we'll wait and see. Hopefully more information will come out of it soon, and we shall wait and see. Right, Gregory, Adam, who's next?
Gregory or Adam, I guess. I mean, I can go next if you like. Unless, Greg, you've got more games
I've got 2 more on my list. Again, I've gone and given enough time for everybody else, Tom. So I've gone with just the 3 games.
That's why I put myself last, so I have to stop. We can reach time.
That's it. And the first one is Stranger of Paradise, which is a Final Fantasy origin. So it's like a prequel / a reimagining of the original Final Fantasy around killing chaos. From Team Ninja, kind of teamed up with Square Enix from what I found of it. Now, I very much like the Final Fantasy series, and I like quite a lot of the sort of the slightly older ones. You sort of 7s, 9s, and 10s are kind of the ones that really stand out to me because I really like a turn-based action game. Like I like being able to play strategically and that sort of thing. I was convinced enough about Final Fantasy 15, and I played through it. I did very much enjoy it. There was an element missing of it. In this game, they seem to have really kind of doubled down on it, and it's gone quite a lot, a little bit like Ninjageddon. So very, very fast paced. It's got some like brutal finishing moves in there. You have different ways of playing. You can still use different elements of magicka from what I've seen, but you can then still use massive weapon combos and that sort of stuff. And I think that's where it's going to sit really nicely. I personally found it a little bit disjointed when playing through 15. Of going, oh, it's I got to do all the combat stuff. Oh wait, no, there is like a slightly turn-based element, but not. And I think for me, it's like one or the other, and I can get into it. So I'm hoping because they've gone fully into this sort of close combat, fast-paced action setup, that I'll be able to really get into this. And I'm like Adam, I stick around for the story. If the story grabs me, and that's where Final Fantasy has done it for me for so many different games. Especially the likes of Final Fantasy X being one of my personal favorites ever, and mostly because of that storyline, just absolutely sucks me in. So I'm with it being a Final Fantasy game, I'm hoping that'll suck me in again, and I'll then stay and not have to kind of push my way through the action as I have done in sort of 15, just because of my personal taste within the game. So that's probably one of the ones I'm very much looking forward to is Stranger of Paradise, a Final Fantasy origin. Yeah, that's all left, isn't it?
I'm going to say, I was waiting for the next one. I was say it's interesting because it's a game that I've never heard of. I've heard of Final Fantasy, but I didn't even know this was kind of a spin-off thing. So yeah, I might have to go and check that out. I'll have to ask you for all the details after the stream, Greg.
Yeah, that is no worries at all. And then one which I expect is at least on one of your other list, which is Redfall, which I'm very much looking forward to. Which is going to be really good. Just find my notes because I can't wait for that. It's again, it's the main thing for me in these sorts of games is this like co-op element, different abilities, different skills in there, and being able just to team up with your friends and face the world is something that I adore. So that's really a standout one for me as well. I'm looking forward to. Take stuff like Back 4 Blood and that sort of thing. Like me and Tom, we've jumped on that a couple of times. I've jumped on it with a number of different friends and that sort of stuff. And I think Redfall is going to be another one of those games that just kind of get hooked into with your friends, and it just gives that real nice social element of gaming, which is one of the personal things that really keeps me coming back at all times.
It's a game that I'd forgotten about. Like I knew it was when it got announced. I was like, this looks really good. Completely forgotten about it, and now you've mentioned it again. I was like, oh, it's another game I need to add to the list.
It's fine. We'll just add it straight to the pile of shame for you, Tom.
Just pop it straight on the top. And the good thing about it, it's going to be releasing on Game Pass as well, so it means I don't have to buy it. I could just play it through Game Pass, which is even better.
Yep, that's it. That's guilt-free pile of shame. Is that one?
There's a separate pile next to it.
Yeah.
100%. Adam, where are you sitting for 2022?
Well, it's pretty obvious, chaps, isn't it? What I'm going to be looking forward to the most, and that is, of course, a series which is near and dear to my heart. A lot of people may know this. That this is a series that is very much near and dear to my heart, and that is, of course,
My Little Pony.
It's the Lord of the Rings Gollum.
Oh, nice.
To be fair, I have sod all information on this. I'll quickly go through the ones I'm looking forward to before I get onto the obvious one I'm looking forward to. Starfield and Hogwarts Legacy have already been mentioned. Lord of the Rings Gollum, which is it's got a window of towards the end of this year in terms of release. They haven't got a firm release date yet. Hopefully it'll be at the end of this year. And yeah, it'll be a story-driven action adventure type thing, but with a lot more stealth to it, and like literally playing as Gollum going through it. Beyond that, I don't know a huge amount about it. It's Lord of the Rings. Give me more Lord of the Rings in the game, please. Thank you very much. Another one I'm looking forward to, again, assuming that it sticks to its 2022 release window, is Hellblade 2.
Yeah.
I've still not finished the first one. I still need to go back and just suck it up, put a headset on, and experience it. What I've experienced so far is fascinating, and I've seen the gameplay reveal that
so
they did
good.
recently, and it looks unbelievable. I'm very intrigued to see how that plays when you're in control of the various elements, because it looks very cinematic. So I'm intrigued to see how that goes, but it just looks phenomenal. And yeah, you were mentioning Unreal Engine 5 earlier.
Yep.
And this is just, yeah, if you've not seen it, go watch the gameplay reveal for Hellblade 2. It will blow your mind. It is mad. But on to the most important part, really. So obviously, I'm looking forward to Destiny 2's latest expansion, which will be the Witch Queen, which is finally coming out on the 22nd of February. Which was meant to come out last year. Destiny has had a tradition of doing September release dates. That slipped for Beyond Light. That moved to November of the year that released. And then Witch Queen even further has moved to February as well, which is fine. It gives them more time to work on the game, means their studio isn't crunching down on hours and stuff. But it's finally coming out on the 22nd of Feb. Destiny's just had, in the last year, probably its best year of content to date. And so anyone who's actively playing Destiny will probably agree with that. The way they've done their seasonal model of going from season to season and having enough content to last throughout whilst giving people a chance to catch up has been fantastic. One of the complaints I have over the last year is that it's becoming harder and harder for a new player to get into Destiny, because you're like, well, what do I start with? Like, what's leaving the game? What's coming in? Expansions are always massive jumping on points if you're a new player. So with Witch Queen coming out, if you've never played Destiny before or you've lapsed several years, this is going to be the time to jump back on, because it will be a whole new load of stuff going on. You've got this is in terms of the story, it's building around a story that's been in Destiny 2 for several years, which is based around a character called Savathun, who is a hive witch queen. Hence the name, the Witch Queen. And she is very sneaky. She's currently in the game at the moment, but her name and mentions of her have been in since the beginning of Destiny 2, and there's even mentions of her in the lore of the original Destiny as well. So this is how long it's been building, 7 years of game to this particular expansion. There's a new destination, which is Savathun's Throne World. A Throne World, I saw a YouTuber who described it as... to understand what a Throne World is, it's basically like a Pokemon Center, where if you get too knackered, then you go off into your Throne World to heal, and then you can come back. So, which is a nice way of putting it. But that's going to be the main destination for it. There's a whole new weapon crafting system that they're introducing, where you can do a unique combination of mods on your guns and different shaders, and have advanced stats and all sorts of stuff. The RPG element of the game in the last year and a year and a half, even a couple of years, has gone insane, and now they're pushing that even further. They'll have a new weapon type called the Glaive, which is basically a weapon where you can do powerful melee combos. You can fire projectiles out of it, and you can deploy a big old shield from it as well. So it's like a kind of do it all type thing. And then of course the usual stuff: brand new raid, new exotic gear, new activities, and then the start of a new season as well, going into their year long of various seasons. As well. And yeah, as I say, I'm mega excited. I have put in my request to book off the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of launch week. So, and yeah, as I say, I've mentioned it already, but I'll say it again. Like for new players or anyone who's lapsed, it can be quite difficult to get back into it because it feels like you've missed so much and you're so far behind. Expansions are that point to jump on. There's a guy in the clan that I'm in who jumped on around when Beyond Light came out, and we had a lot to explain to him and stuff. He's now, without a doubt, Probably one of the best players we have. Like, he's soloed master dungeons and all sorts. Like, and a dungeon is a free player activity for anyone that doesn't know. Master being the highest difficulty, and I'm like, this is the dude who I did a raid with, who got the exotic weapon at the end of it, which I still don't have after years of trying. He got it first try, and his response was this. He went, "Oh, so yeah, I got 1,000 voices. Is that good?" Fuming, absolutely fuming. But now he happens to be like probably the most knowledgeable Destiny player that we have, which is insane. So,
and your new leader, by the sounds of things.
Yeah.
No. That's sore subject. Honestly, Adam, you've sold that to me though, like because I haven't actually given Destiny a proper go. And but it's really interesting to hear that like there's certain points where you can jump in, because I mean there of course there are other like kind of MMOs available. And some of these kind of struggle with that, with like a reset point or where people can jump in, and it's good to know that they've clearly got that set out.
It's what makes it quite interesting, because you do have those points where they have this whole content vault system where they'll kind of take some of the older content away from the game, and which they are doing with this upcoming release, to make space for the new stuff. And so it does act as like a natural jumping on point if you've never done it before. You can jump on at any time. Obviously, Destiny 2, the base game itself is free. So you can just jump in, create a character, do the new light experience, and kind of do some of the free activities and that sort of thing. And all the previous expansions are still available, with the exception of the ones that have literally been pulled out from the game now. But so, yeah, as I say, it's coming up. I'm mega excited. Yep. That's my nerd out. I thank you.
To be fair, Destiny, I think every time an expansion comes out, I always want to jump back into Destiny 2. And I never kind of really do it, because I know Destiny is better with friends. It's better when you're playing in a group. And I never seem to be online at the same time or in the mood to play Destiny when friends are. So it is something that I might give it a go. And obviously, I know that all the previous expansions are available on Game Pass. I know Witch Queen isn't going to be on Game Pass, to my knowledge, is it?
No, it's not. So slight change with the Game Pass thing. So Game Pass for PC, it's all currently available on. Console, it's now been removed, so you can't get the previous expansions on Game Pass for console. Okay. It is currently still available on PC, but yeah, Witch Queen won't be on Game Pass, so that'll just be a completely separate thing.
I think,
but by the sounds of it, it's still a worthy purchase.
Oh yeah, 100%. And as I say, even if you don't have any of the expansions, if you just want to have a feel for the gameplay and that sort of thing, you can still jump into the free stuff. They've got their 30th anniversary content going on right now, which is there's the 6-player activity, which is match made, called Dares of Eternity, which is nuts. There's a horse. There's this this guy who's basically a weird alien, and he's basically being the game show host and saying all these like through the fourth wall quotes. There's weapons that look like they're from Halo. It's just absolutely mental.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, I'm glad that you're excited for it, Adam, and I know that's going to be something that you're going to be playing throughout the year as well. It's not just a one and done thing for you with Destiny, so I'm looking forward to hearing your initial thoughts as it releases. Just to quickly answer one of Michael's questions in chat regarding stock on the Xbox website regarding some apparel. Unfortunately, we have no involvement in any that way, shape, or form. If we want to buy that, we also have to buy through the website. So yeah, if it's showing out of stock, it will just be the case of waiting around to see if it comes back into stock. I know sometimes they can do a notify me when available, so it might be worth doing that and then popping your email address there if that is an option on that item. But to round things off, and I've been given 6 minutes to discuss my items.
Sorry.
That's all good. And to be fair, a lot of the games that we've kind of already discussed. So Hellblade 2 is on my list that I'm very much looking forward to. The gameplay trailer really made me want to play it. Joe, you've already mentioned Elden Ring and Starfield, another one that I'm super excited for. But a couple of others that I'm really excited for, and all for different reasons. First of all is Rainbow Six Extraction, which comes out in 10 days, launching into Game Pass day one as well. The reason that I'm excited for it is I never got into Rainbow Six Siege, but Extraction has the same operators as Siege. So it's understanding those characters and that lore behind those characters, but playing in a co-op environment. more of a PvE instead of PvP. So that's one of the main reasons I'm looking forward to that. And it's been a long time since I played a Rainbow Six game, so looking forward to kind of jumping into there. Probably my big game for this year is going to be Stalker 2. So ultra realistic RPG. I've played some of the originals on PC. As soon as I saw Stalker 2 kind of got announced, I went back and replayed some of the originals. I'm super looking forward to that. If you know the games that I play, especially on PC, games like Escape from Tarkov, ultra realistic shooter. This has akin to that, but with those RPG elements. And one that I wasn't a big fan of the first game, but looking forward to the second, is Dying Light 2. Because they've actually turned around and said to 100% complete the game is upwards of 400 to 500 hours. Like you can do just the main campaign. Like you can go through the main campaign in a normal RPG time. So that's maybe between 70 to 100 hours, which is a pretty standard thing for a big RPG. If you want to like do all the side quests, find all the collectibles, all those bits and pieces, you're looking at around 500 hours worth of gameplay. And I love a game that I can just sink hours into. So yeah, looking forward to that for that specific reason. Once again, RPG mechanics, parkour, first person, has everything that I love in a game. And the last one that I'm going to mention, I've got more games on my list, but the last one I want to mention is an ID Xbox title. And that is Tunic, where you play as a little fox. And to make a comparison to games that are already out there, it's very much like Legend of Zelda, like the original Legend of Zeldas. And what I love about it is it's made by one person. One person has made this entire game, became part of the ID Xbox program, and Microsoft have been helping him create this game. It's been shown off at a couple of shows. It was actually at XO19, which I think a lot of us were there as well. So I managed to play it at XO19 for kind of 20 minutes. And straight away I was like, yeah, I've got to play this full game. It's kind of top down, but not. So it's kind of at that angle. You play as this little fox. It has a sword and shield, and you go around and kind of action adventure type of game. But yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to that. And that's meant to launch in March, 16th of March. So I'm looking forward to that. And that's a game, even if I don't know if it's coming to Game Pass or not, but even if it doesn't, it's a game that I will 100% invest my money into. Because yeah, I'm super, super looking forward to it, which will be really, really cool. Yeah, a variety of games, but a lot of them are RPG focused, like you, Joe, because that is the main game that I play. It's my main genre of game.
Yeah. No, they sound awesome. I'm really looking forward to checking out the Tunic as well. Yeah. Especially how I described it's top down as well, but with a sword and shield. It sounds like a pretty interesting start. Yeah,
I definitely have a recommend. Look at some gameplay trailers, look at some announcement trailers. It looks super cute as well. But yeah, it's kind of action adventure. It's got some dark moments in it. So yeah, highly recommend checking Tunic out.
So for the artwork, was it the one guy did all the artwork and everything as well?
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah, so he started it off. His team has slightly expanded over the last couple of years. But he started off completely by himself, has spent years getting to this point, and his team has got slightly bigger now. But yeah, give it a watch, give it a chat. I think they do an interview with the developer, with the creator as well, and he talks about how he's gone through his whole process of making it by himself. So yeah, definitely check it out. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is what Greg, Adam, Joe, and myself are looking forward to in 2022. I know a few of you have mentioned a couple of games in chat as well. But yeah, thank you very much for joining us for this first videocast of 2022. As always, these are every other week, so every 2 weeks. I know next videocast we're going to be talking about the Rainbow Six series in general with the launch of Extraction, which I've already said I'm looking forward to. But gentlemen, have you looked forward to it? No. Have you enjoyed yourself? Have you enjoyed yourself?
Have you looked forward?
Have you looked forward?
I did. I went forward in time. I was like, I'm going to enjoy this, actually. No, it's been brilliant. Yeah, thanks.
Awesome. Are you even more excited about the video games coming out for 2022 now?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Now I realised how many.
My work
it's been a nice reminder for some of them. There's some that I completely forgot about until either before we went live and quickly looking up all right, what is coming out in 2022, or actually just talking about it. So yeah.
Yeah, there are a number of games, as same as you, Adam. Like when I was looking through the release schedule of supposed release dates, I was like, oh, I didn't even realize that was coming out this year. Or there's games that I've never heard of, and go, oh, actually, what is this? And I'll go, oh, that sounds just like my type of game. So I'm now going to give that a play. Well, there we are. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. The team will be live again. Oh, Greg will be live with Nigel tomorrow at 5 p.m. for Easy Live, where they're going to be doing all the top tips for Microsoft 365. So if you've got a brand new device or brand new to Microsoft 365, these guys will be able to give you some tips. And then on Wednesday, Greg is back again with Matt, where they can continuing on our playthrough on Level Up of Halo, the Halo Infinite campaign. But I hope you enjoy all of your week. I hope you have an enjoyable rest of your day. And until then, we will see you next week. Cheers, guys. Bye.
Bye.